Ever find yourself wondering, like, how do we really know someone's learned something? Like,
Yeah.
not just, memorized a bunch of facts for a test,
Right.
but actually gets it. You
Yeah.
know, it can actually use what they've learned.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Well, that's what we're going to dig into today.
Totally.
Assessment in instructional design.
It's a huge topic.
It is, and it's way more interesting than it sounds, I promise.
Oh, absolutely.
We've got this module here all about it.
It's a good one.
And the readings and resources list, it's got some really cool titles in there, like
Oh, yeah.
games and simulations and
Oh, that's a good one.
thinking about assessment in the time of generative AI. It's like, whoa,
Right.
okay, this is getting real.
Yeah, it's getting meta.
So by the end of this deep dive, you're going to understand like the core concepts of assessment,
For sure.
the difference between assessment and evaluation, which a lot of people get tripped up on.
It's a tricky one.
Yeah, and even how AI is like changing the game.
Oh, yeah. AI is a game changer for sure.
Big time.
Hu-
Ready to unlock some learning secrets.
Let's do it.
All right. So this module, like right off the bat,
Yeah.
it defines assessment as, measuring progress toward objectives.
It's a good definition.
Yeah, like are we actually hitting the goals that we set out?
Exactly. And that's so important because, like you were saying before, if you're, designing training for your team, or even just like teaching your kid how to ride a bike,
Right.
you need to know if it's actually working. And
Forget about it.
assessment gives you that data.
So how do we figure that out?
Well, there are different types of assessment, right? Like
Right.
formative and summative.
Okay. Yeah, the module talked about those.
Yeah, so formative assessment is
Yeah.
kind of like those check-ins you do along the way.
Okay.
So think like pop quizzes,
Yeah.
or having students submit drafts of their work.
Gotcha.
Even just like casual observations, as you're teaching a class,
Right.
you can see who's getting it and who's struggling.
And that gives you a chance to adjust, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's all about giving feedback along the way so learners can, course correct.
And then summative assessment, on the other hand.
That's like the big kahuna, the
Yeah.
final exam, the
Right.
culminating project.
Yeah.
It's about evaluating their overall grasp of the material at the end.
So it's not just about like, did they check all the boxes, but can they actually use this knowledge?
Exactly. It's about seeing the big picture.
Now I'm thinking back to this games and simulations, reading in the resources,
Oh, yeah, that was a good one.
because it was talking about this idea of authentic assessment,
Yes.
like getting people to actually use what they've learned in a real world kind of way.
And that's what's so cool about authentic assessment, right? It's about bridging the gap between the classroom and the real world.
So instead of just like a multiple choice test on, negotiation strategies,
Right.
you might have them role play in negotiation with a challenging client or something.
Exactly. Or instead of a written test on project management,
Right.
they actually manage a simulated project
Oh, that's cool.
with real world constraints and everything.
I like that.
Yeah, it's way more engaging and it gives you a much better sense of whether they can actually apply what they've learned.
So we've been talking about assessment,
Right.
but the module makes this point
Yeah.
about
Yeah.
assessment versus evaluation.
Yes, they're not the same thing.
Yeah, they're not the same thing.
And a lot of people get them mixed up.
Okay, so help us out here.
So assessment, like we've been saying, it's all about gathering data.
Data points.
Data points about the learner's progress.
Okay.
It's like taking a snapshot,
Right. Right.
of their understanding at a particular moment.
Got it.
Evaluation, on the other hand,
Yeah.
it takes that data and uses it to make judgments about the effectiveness of the learning experience as a whole.
So assessment is like, okay, we've collected all this information.
Yes.
Evaluation is like, all right, let's look at this information and see if we actually achieved what we set out to do.
Exactly. And here's the thing.
Yeah.
Good evaluation really relies on good assessment practices.
Because if the data is bad,
Garbage in and garbage out.
exactly.
If the data you're collecting is not accurate or relevant, your evaluation is not going to be very meaningful.
Totally makes sense.
Yeah.
So speaking of like game changers,
Yes.
AI,
Yes.
artificial intelligence,
It's blowing up everywhere.
it's everywhere.
Yeah.
And the module has this whole section on AI in assessment.
Yeah, it's really interesting.
Yeah, and kind of mind-blowing.
For sure.
So like, how is AI actually changing things in assessment?
Well, one of the biggest things is personalization.
Okay.
AI can tailor the assessment experience to each individual learner.
Whoa.
So imagine a system that can adjust the difficulty level of a quiz
Yeah,
in real time based on how the student is performing.
that's crazy.
Right. It can also provide customized feedback
Wow.
and even suggest additional resources for areas where the student needs more help.
That would be amazing.
Right. It's like having a personal tutor for every student.
That's incredible.
Yeah. And AI can also analyze huge amounts of data, to identify patterns and trends that we might not even notice as humans.
Okay.
So it can help us understand how different students learn,
Yeah,
what their strengths and weaknesses are,
that's powerful.
and how we can best tailor instruction to their needs.
Okay, so we're kind of getting into like sci-fi territory here.
A little bit, yeah.
But it's really exciting.
It is. It's very exciting.
So as AI becomes, more and more integrated into assessment,
Right.
what are like the key takeaways for instructional designers? Like, what do we need to keep in mind?
I think the biggest thing is to remember that AI is a tool.
Yeah, okay.
It's not a replacement for human judgment.
Right.
We still need to observe our learners, interact with them, understand their unique needs and challenges.
So it's not just about like plugging everyone into the AI and letting it do its thing.
No, definitely not.
We still need that human element.
Absolutely.
And speaking of things to keep in mind,
Yes.
I just want to remind everyone about those readings and resources,
Oh, yeah. Those are great.
especially the ones on games and simulations.
Yes.
And AI tools.
So relevant.
Yeah, they could really spark some new ideas about assessment design.
And I think that's the key, right? As instructional designers, we need to be lifelong learners ourselves,
Totally.
constantly adapting and evolving our practices.
And AI is definitely pushing us to do that.
For sure.
Well, that's a great point to end on, I think.
I think so too.
Thanks for diving deep with us today.
My pleasure.
Keep those learning secrets coming.
Always.
And we'll see you next time.
See you then.
Bye.
Bye.